It is Monday, September 1st, and I am here up in Morning Sun Meadow collecting kindling. I brought like a tarp up. I'm going to fill it up with small sticks because winter is coming. Soon we will be needing to use the wood stove in our cabin for the purposes of heat, and we collect kindling to help start fires in the wood stove, and we have a lot on site, so it's pretty easy to do. But kindling collection is one of those things for me anyway that, like, sometimes I can leave it until the last minute, or like not do it soon enough, or like before it rains and everything gets wet or things like that. So I've made it a point to like collect it before we need it. And one of those things, to get ready for the autumn and fall, or the fall and winter. And I will tell you that collecting kindling is super satisfying as far as just like an activity that both Mike and I enjoy in the woods. And he would be out here joining me, but Mike and I are also more of what I like to call a divide and conquer team, because we have a lot of differences. We operate on very different time schedules and energy cycles, and so we're more of a divide and conquer team, and we kind of do the things that we're good at and speak to our strengths, and also align with our sleep schedules and waking up schedules. And I'm just like, I'm an early morning person and he is not. So I'm up here in the morning, which is extra nice right now because it's still getting warm out here. I feel like warmer than is typical for this time of year in western Montana. Lately we've been experiencing like 40-degree point temperature spreads in a day. So like in the morning it could be 45 degrees, and then by late afternoon it could be 85. So the mornings are nice and cool, so it's nice, and this is a good time to do this right now before it gets too warm out, where this becomes a little less enjoyable. So I don't know if you can hear the crunching of these sticks, but that's part of the satisfying part, when you find a tree that just has really dry, dead, small sticks for breaking off for kindling purposes. Yeah, it's very, this feels really good. It's Labor Day weekend, and learned living out here that, and it makes sense, I've just never lived in the woods before, so putting it together, that holiday weekends are often a busier time out here in the woods. Busy is relative. No one else lives up here except for us and one other guy like 2 miles down the road. Full time anyway. The other people that live up here, which are very few folks, or have places up here, just come up here a couple times, 3-4 times a year at the most. So there's that. But lots of folks come up here, use the Forest Service roads for other purposes, collecting wood, hunting when that starts soon, all sorts of things. Recreational based in the woods, and so often there'll be more sort of vehicular traffic on our gravel road, but this weekend has been pretty quiet, which is kind of nice, because right now during the week is actually quite noisy here because of the logging operation going on, and then also are now what will be our closest neighbors who just started building, or actually are finishing their building project here soon. The construction crew is like really close by to us, right across the street, and so I can hear them very clearly most of the day, Monday through Friday. So right now I'm enjoying the weekends because the construction crew and the logging crews don't work, and they have a little bit more opportunity to have the peace and quiet and stillness out here that is very nourishing. So something I'm appreciating living out here the way that we are is like it's just really giving me a better, just like this really ripe, fertile opportunity to get more in touch with like the seasonal shiftings. And like even though the weather's not changing dramatically yet, I can like feel autumn in the air, and I can like witness the changes in the forest and in the animals. And I think subconsciously that's prompting me to be like, okay, it's time to start collecting kindling and start like stocking up wood for the winter. I'm taking these cues from my surroundings to be, to help me start getting into the seasonal shifting mode. And it's just a really nice like connection point and like source of grounding. I'm grateful to live in a place that has like really pronounced seasons, like Montana. Like a lot of places, obviously closer to the equator, there's still changes, but they're less pronounced. And some places are quite temperate, they don't change a whole lot, throughout the year. And I think I would really struggle living in a place like that. I really like, the encouragement to like go through my own cycles and to like change my activities and what I'm eating and just kind of like cycle through different parts of myself also that are like prompted by nature's changing. We're gonna winter over at home this year. Which is what we've always done prior to living here in the woods. Well, actually a couple years before we moved out here, but for the last 5 years we've been wintering down south. And now we're just ready to return back to wintering home. And I know it will involve some challenges and a learning curve living how we do off-grid and without running water. There'll definitely be some things that will be challenging and I will need to figure out. But I'm really looking forward to the hibernation season of winter here in Montana. Like, I've really missed that a lot, being down south. Down south is wonderful, like the sun and the warmth throughout the year. I mean, throughout the winter, the outdoor living capacity is amazing. It's so nice. I could totally see why people want to live in those areas. But for me, I really like the cold, darker, gray, snowy, frozen season of like the North Country winters. Like that hibernation season for me is really important. Just this like really deep downtime and rest time. And it's also a really like fertile opportunity for me as a writer and a poet. Like that hibernation season is really, it's really special. So I'm looking forward to being out here on the land in the woods in Montana this winter. So looking forward to that, which feels nice. And I feel like I'm sort of in a minority camp with that, because a lot of people have difficulty in the winter, and I totally get that. Like, it makes a lot of sense to me. Like, this kind of winter here that we have is not for everyone, because nothing is for everyone. But for me, it's just, yeah, it's for me. It works for me. I really enjoy it, and I'm looking forward to also just like maybe getting some snowshoes and recreating outside a little bit more because of where we live. Um, you know, we're big hot springers, and we're blessed with living in an area that has a lot of pretty close hot springs, like natural hot springs. So we like to do that in the winter, but I'd like to get out a little bit more and see if I can do snowshoes or maybe cross-country skiing. I have a nerve condition that affects my feet and legs, and I have chronic pain, and so I'm not sure if I'll be able to do either of those things, but I'd like to try it out and see what happens, how it goes, because I'd like to be outside in the woods a little bit more this winter too. A lot of these trees that I'm taking from right now are Doug firs. So Doug firs are one of our big tree species here. We also have a lot of larch trees, or they're also known as tamarack trees. Those are two names for the same tree. And then we've got ponderosa pine and some lodgepole pine also. Those are our main tree species out here. And wonderful news. I mentioned on a video recently, I think, that Mike met the head of the logging crew who was operating right behind our property on the National Forest. They're just right on our border. And they are going to come and bring us some of the ponderosa pine that they are taking out up there as part of their project, wildfire mitigation efforts that they're doing. And so we're going to have the chance to purchase some of the logs that are coming out of there. And Mike's going to use them on the sauna house build. And we're actually, I think, going to get like a dozen of them, so we'll have plenty to use for other building purposes in the future, which will be nice because we're kind of at the point, my understanding is we're at the point where like Mike has used all of the down dead trees that are accessible anyway and usable for lumber, and just a lot of them aren't usable either. Like they're just too punky or too bug ridden or just too rotten. So like we'd either be at the stage of cutting down trees, healthy trees, which we can do, and we have a lot of here, but we also don't want to do that as much as possible too. And so getting these logs will be helpful because they're coming out anyway. You know, they're going other places anyway, so they might as well just come here. So, okay, I'm trying to stay close to the camera, but I'm going to need to start branching out in my kindling collection here on my little tarp. So, thanks for tuning in. As always, much appreciated. We enjoy sharing the journey, and yeah, I'm still working on how to wrap these up, so end of scene.